Hello and welcome to another episode of Wildness and Wellbeing. I'm Tim Jones and today I'm here with my friend Beth Baker, who is an outdoor adventurer and now a Vanlifer as well. Hey Beth, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great. Absolutely loving life at the moment. Can't complain. Happy to be here.
Beautiful. So, have you always been into the outdoors?
I have not actually. I started to get into the outdoors in my early 20s. So it was following a bit of a bad breakup. One of my friends sort of noticed I wasn't in the best of moods, and they basically invited me out hiking with them. And from there, I just fell in love with it. I kept hiking with them for a bit and eventually built up my confidence to go out on my own.
And what was the first hike you went on?
Oh, the first hike I went on would have been in the Peak District. I believe it was Stanage Edge, I think, from the top of my head. It was so long ago now. I think that was my first ever hike.
How did it make you feel? It obviously had a bit of an impact on you.
Yeah, honestly, I really enjoyed it. I think very fortunate that it was a nice weather day, so that didn't put me off. But it was just nice. It was so peaceful, and bumping into like people. Not physically bumping into them, but just walking by people. Everyone was so friendly, and it was always like, "Oh, hello, hi," and yeah, it was just a nice feeling. It felt good to be out there.
And then you got the bug.
I did, yeah. I thought you were talking about like an actual but yeah, I did. I fell in love with it. Obviously built up my confidence to go out on my own, and I just haven't stopped since. I think pretty much every weekend since then I've been out hiking, which I'm not complaining about. I love it. It's great. I think more people should get into it.
What do you think it is that draws you to it so much?
I think for me, because I do a lot of it solo, and I think for me, it allows me to have a bit of thinking space, whether it's I'm going through something in life or I just want to think about a problem that I'm having, a situation that I'm going through, work stuff, friends, anything like that. It just allows me to have that time to think about them quite clearly and sort of just process anything like that. So it's that sort of peaceful moment where you can just be with your own thoughts, and that for me is like what I love the most, is that I can think freely. I'm not just trapped in my head in a way. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I can think about things.
Beautiful. What would you say have been your top hikes you've been on?
Ooh, top hikes. That is tricky. I would say my first ever hike in the Lake District, that was the Old Man of Coniston. That is up there as one of my favourites. I would also then say I've had a really good hike in the Cairngorms. I think a couple of winters ago. It was just perfect conditions. It was like a bluebird day. Um, there's been so many. It's so hard to choose. Like, I think a lot of my hikes have been good for different reasons, whether it's the weather was great, the company was good. There's so many different things that affect how good a hike might be.
And talking about great company, we've been on some good hikes as well.
We have. We've been on quite a few little adventures together. Gosh, I'm trying to think of like our most recent one. I think did we go to like Wales or Peak District like somewhat recently?
We did Dragons back in October. I think we did lakes before then. The one that really sticks out for me was when we did. It was my first car camp actually. It was Wales, Lynn. I can't say it, but Clinpadden or something like that.
Limpadan. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. But yeah, that was a good one. That was such a nice car camp. Obviously, I'd been car camping for that point, like probably about a year or so. I think before I got my van, I'd been car camping for over 2 years, which is insane. But yeah, that is definitely one of like the great adventures that we had, and I think Marlo was with us on that adventure. He was just a little puppy back then, causing chaos, but it was great.
tell everyone about Marlo then.
Oh, Marlo is a border collie. He's almost 2. He is as crazy as you'd expect a border collie to be. But he's amazing. He has been my adventure dog from the start. I took him up his first hill in a backpack. I carried him up Snowdon. That was our first hike together. And that was intense, carrying a dog in a backpack up a hill. And did that for Sunrise as well. So I did that on hardly any sleep. But yeah, he's an amazing adventure pup. He loves the outdoors just as much as I do. He probably goes a bit crazier than what I do in the outdoors. But yeah, he's amazing, and he loves life.
Ah, he's also good for high fives as well, isn't he?
He is, yeah. He loves a high five. It's our signature move. I think everyone that knows us will see us doing a high five.
So, if someone, for instance, in your position, say you were talking to the Beth 2 or 3 years ago who hadn't been on a hike, and you were going to give her some advice, what would you give?
I would probably say, learn how to read a map, honestly. The amount of times I got myself lost, because what I used to do was I'd find like blog posts and people would post like pictures and then details of the route, which they were helpful. But then if you're somewhere without signal and you forget to screenshot those, it's very easy to lose your way. And I didn't know how to read a map back then, so I would get myself lost quite a few times. So one of the big things would be learn how to read a map, and invest in some good gear. Obviously when you first start out, it seems a bit like silly to pay a lot of money for like expensive gear, but I think once you realise that you enjoy it, that's when you should start investing, because my first pair of hiking shoes disintegrated within about 2 months or something. They just broke, but they were really, really cheap. But then since then I invested in some good quality gear and it has lasted me years.
Yeah, I can see your very, very well worn muddy scarpers in the corner.
Yeah, they have been with me for a good while. They have travelled to quite a few different countries now. Going strong still. I absolutely love those shoes. But yeah, that's one of the big things. Invest in the gear. Once you sort of realise that you like it, don't invest in it if you're gonna hate it. There's not much point.
And talking about different countries, you've kind of got a bit of a ritual now where every birthday you do a different mountain in a different country.
Yeah, I do. So I started it for my 25th birthday. I'd never been abroad at that point, and I just really wanted to go abroad. So I decided to go to Germany, do Zugspitze as like my first ever trip abroad for my 25th birthday. I reached the summit, and yeah, since then I've kept up the tradition. So I've gone to Morocco, I've got plans to go to Slovenia this year as well. So yeah, I'm just keeping that up. It's like my little new tradition, a birthday mountain each year.
Going back to Zugspitze,
Mm-hmm.
did you train for that? How hard was it? What did it entail? How many days?
I didn't train for it, but I did so much research into it before I went, especially because it's my first time leaving the UK. I wanted to make sure that I was going to be safe because I went on my own. So I did so much research into it, the route, what that would be like, where I would stay, because you can do it in one day, but they say that it's obviously, quite rushed and you need to start quite early. So I did it over 2 days and stayed in a mountain hut part way, and then I did the summit on the second day. But yeah, I just did so much research before I went.
All about the research.
Which honestly, it comes in handy. I think that's one of the key things is like researching, understanding where you're going, what you will do. Like it's good to go with the flow sometimes, but I also think it's also good to know that you're going to be safe.
Yeah, definitely. And you're really into cold water dipping as well.
I am. I try to do that at least once a week. So generally when I go on my little weekends away, I will have a little dip in there.
What is it that you feel is so amazing about cold water dipping?
For me, it's refreshing and I feel re-energized whenever I do it. So I'll either try to do it in the morning to wake me up and sort of get me ready for the day, or I'll do it on an evening before I head home and things like that, just so that I feel a bit more refreshed, especially if you've been hiking and you're a bit sweaty after a long hike or something. It's nice to cool off, even if it is absolutely freezing.
Yeah, and we are in your brand new spanking van, which looks absolutely beautiful, which is probably why, if you hear any background noise today, there are some cars whooshing through the village of Castleton. Is it a village?
It is a village, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a village. Yeah. No, the van is great. Obviously, it's not a new van, but it is a new van to me. So I've had it since before Christmas 2024, so about almost 2 months I've had the van now. It's travelled to quite a lot of different places within that time, but yeah, I love it. I fell in love with it as soon as I saw it.
It is absolutely beautiful. I absolutely adore the cow, Depor, the Highland cattle. What's the story behind that one?
I'm glad you appreciate them. Honestly, I just love Highland cows. I don't know why. I just think they are super cute. So, the van is decked out in them. I've got teddies, I've got ornaments, towel, bedding. Literally everything is Highland cow. They just make me happy. They're just so adorable.
And what adventures have you been on so far in the van?
So far the van has travelled all the way up to Scotland. It has travelled to the Lake District. It's travelled to North Yorkshire. I think the only place it hasn't travelled to yet is Wales. I think I need a trip to Wales in the van.
No, if me and my partner move to Wales, you'll have to come and visit.
Definitely will. I'll just be parking up on like the driveway or something. I'll just stay in my van. But yeah, it's been to a lot of places. It has put some miles on since I got it. It's actually quite scary how many miles I put on this van.
How many miles?
I think like I've only had it 2 months. I think I've put about 4,000 or 5,000 miles on the van.
Just in the UK?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's bad. That's bad, isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, lots of fuel. So, what are your next plans with the van?
So my next plans, decoration wise, I'm gonna be putting some fairy lights up in here. I just want to add like that little homely touch to the van. So I have the lights, I just need to install them. But adventure wise, in terms of what I'm gonna do next.
That's actually what I was asking.
I mean, you want to know about the decor, clearly. Adventure wise, I obviously will continue with my weekends in the UK, going here, there, everywhere. But then I do want to take the van abroad. I've never driven abroad before, so I'm actually quite excited for that. I think that is a plan for next year. I'm going to take some time off of work and just travel, go to France, probably do a fair bit there, maybe travel elsewhere as well, depending on like how much time I have and how far the van can go. But yeah, that is sort of the big adventure that I want to do. I really want to go abroad in it.
And you've recently taken up rugby.
Yeah, I have recently taken up rugby. Tag rugby, not contact rugby. I don't want any broken bones or limbs or anything. So I do tag rugby. I started it in October and I just do it once a week and it's very much for fitness, but it's also nice just to meet other people, do something a bit different, and yeah, just have some fun, really.
Nice. And obviously, talking about meeting other people, we met on a Lost Explorers hike, didn't we? Have you been on many group hikes in your journey so far?
Yeah, we did meet our Lost Explorers. You know what? No, I haven't. When I first started hiking, I did. Like, I went to quite a few because it was nice to meet other people that are also into hiking. But I think the more and more I've gotten into hiking, I enjoy doing it solo. Like, it's nice to also have like a friend to occasionally go with, but I enjoy the solo side of things, and just, me and Marlo, I just chat to him. He'd probably get sick of me, like, talking to him. But I just, like, chat away to him or chat to myself. I just enjoy, like, going solo and just having that freedom, especially the fact that you can also go at your own pace. Because there are some days where I just want to go slow. Like, I just want to plod along.
What do you do? Because you do a lot of car camping now, you do van camping and stuff like that, and you do a lot of solo stuff. In terms of, is there any safety tips you can give anyone who perhaps wants to do solo trips and go car camping or even wild camping or something like that?
Yeah, I would say, like, for car camping, wild camping, I think the big thing is to know the area that you are in, or know a safe place that you can camp, that you can park. Like, I use an app called Park for Night, which I think a lot of people use these days. And that's really handy for getting car parking sort of tips and spaces. I would say as well, only do it if you feel comfortable. Don't do it just because you've seen other people do it and you just wanna get out there. Like, if you feel safe and comfortable, then give it a go. It's quite nice. I think for me, like, I developed, like, my own little cute setup with it, and I think everyone finds their own setup that suits them. Invest in window blinds. That's probably the big thing. Nothing worse than feeling like someone is staring at you from the outside. So invest in window blinds, because having that privacy to the outdoors makes it feel that little bit safer. But yeah, have some wits about you. Just try and be. It's hard to say, like, just try and be safe. Like, don't be stupid. Use some common sense. Like, that sounds a bit harsh, doesn't it? But just use common sense. Don't go sort of camping where you shouldn't camp.
Yeah, Park for a Night definitely saved me and Naina when we were going through Australia van camping, for sure. Yeah, I've done a lot of car camps, and I think general rule of thumb is, if it doesn't feel right, move, really.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the things. Like, I have done that before myself as well, where I've parked somewhere and then I was just like, no, this doesn't feel right. It seems too quiet or something like that, and I'm gonna feel safer moving further down the road where I'm a bit closer to, like, a village or something. So yeah, like, if it doesn't feel right, move on to make sure that you feel comfortable.
So I'll give you one final question for
Okay.
everyone to get takeaway. What would you say is the biggest thing you've learnt on your journey so far?
Oh gosh, that's an intense question. I am put on the spot. Oh my goodness. What have I learned? You know what? I feel like I've learned a lot about myself. I will say that. Like, I feel like I've learned a lot about myself, what I actually truly enjoy, what I want to sort of be doing in life. And I realise, like, this is what I want to be doing. Like, I'm really happy in my life now. I would say, like, in the past, I've had, like, issues with depression and things like that where I wasn't super happy. But now I feel like I've sort of, it sounds so cliche, but, like, I found myself. Like, I found sort of my calling in life. Like, this is what I enjoy doing, and this is what I want to keep doing.
Beautiful. How do people follow your adventures, Beth?
Yeah, people can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is beth.baker.hikes. I think I also have a Facebook page as well. Literally the exact same thing. So yeah, they can follow me and Marlo on our adventures on there.
Fantastic. Cheers, Beth.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this podcast. Please feel free to like, share and subscribe.